Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another third-party unlicensed 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. Today we're taking a look at the SooSoo Toys Gentlemoon, aka Mr. Knight, based off his appearance in the Disney Plus series Moon Knight. Now I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. As always, do your own research, make sure you are comfortable before buying. I have popped a link to their site in the description below for your reference purposes only. This is not a promotional video, this is a review. All opinions are 100% my own. If you are heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new SooSoo Toys figure review goes live on the channel. As for the box art, unfortunately SooSoo Toys continues their downward spiral when it comes to their artwork. They used to be good, not so much anymore. This, to me, looks terrible. We've got a moon in the background, everything is very blue, and the image of Moon Knight front and center is quite blurry. Down below, we have his third-party name, which is, of course, Gentlemoon. It's not the end of the world, I suppose, it's just that SooSoo Toys used to hit on every level, including the box art, and this might be one of their worst ones yet. On the side of the box, we have whatever the heck was on the front cover spilling over the edge. Around the back, his name, a moon, warnings and legal information, and two buildings that have literally nothing to do with Moon Knight. You see, that's actually a lot better. It's an old-timey style image of Mr. Knight done in sepia, of him just sitting there looking classy. SooSoo Toys, though, do continue to do one of the stupidest things I've ever seen from a third-party company. They are so obsessed with trying to trick you into thinking you're unboxing a Hot Toys figure that they have copied the sticker Hot Toys uses on their clam trays down to the wording. Which would be fine if it made sense. The sticker says, read the instructions. But long story short, this guy doesn't come with any instructions. So, SooSoo Toys, instead of copying stupid stickers, I would suggest either just including instructions or ditching it entirely. As for Mr. Knight himself, first in-hand impressions, so far so good, he feels pretty heavy. What we are going to do now though is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first, which is done in the typical SooSoo Toy style. This is actually a stolen Sideshow display base mold. Back in the day, they recast an old-school Sideshow base, and they've continued to run with it. Luckily, they have put their own spin on it. They do at least change the logo in the middle. So this time we have a crescent dart with washers in the sculpt work and the bandages up top. Then for the quadrants, they are done in this bluish grey, with some dusty-looking airbrush shading over the top. I don't know if I love how this base looks. Maybe it'll grow on me. Up top, an adjustable crotch grabber. How did Hot Toys make the decision, knowing full well that Oscar Isaac is a collector, not to give us an unmasked head sculpt with their version of Moon Knight? I can't think of anything more insulting for a company to do than not reward one of their fans that they're making a figure of with a head sculpt of themselves. Luckily, SooSoo Toys were up to the challenge. We are going to discuss this head sculpt in a lot more detail when we pop it on the body. I'm still not entirely sure what to call these, so I'm gonna go with moon sticks. So we do get two of them. There's some gold paint up the top and bottom. The main section is painted in silver, and we've got some washers in the sculpted hieroglyphs so that they pop. There are even washers in the sculpted details on these tiny little scarabs. So we do get two of them, one with the wings open and the other with the wings closed. Bloody hell, I'm going to say washers way too many times. It's just the best way to describe what's going on here. For the crescent darts or moonerangs or lunarangs, we get two of them. They're quite prickly, so do be careful not to spike yourself. The gold paint isn't quite as shiny as the Hot Toys crescent darts, but they've added washers in the detail where Hot Toys didn't. This might just be my favorite accessory. It's the little Khonshu totem. There isn't any texture on the surface, but they do make up for it with, once again, washers. There's a wash over the top, so all of the sculpt work does stand out. Oh, and we do get an interchangeable rolled-up sleeve shirt, and I will show you what he looks like wearing this a little bit later. And lastly, a full array of hands. This time they are quite squishy and rubbery, so there is no need to run out and grab a hairdryer just to get these on the body. The first set of gloved hands with the wrinkling and the stitching and the texture just so happen to be closed fists. Then we get 2 gripping hands for the moon sticks, splayed out finger hands, maybe for a putting on the gloves pose, and some of the most natural looking crescent dart holding hands that I've ever seen. With the pinky sticking out, oh, that's just classy. And lastly, 2 open palm hands already installed on him out of the box. What we are going to do now, though, is get Mr. Knight himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. We've collectively been waiting for this guy for ages. SooSoo kept delaying him, and then suddenly he was out. Not that I'm complaining, I am glad he's here. The question is, though, was he worth the wait? In some ways, yes. In others, no, not really. Let's start with the bad stuff first. The proportions are kinda NQR, not quite right. The shoulders are really narrow, the belly sticks out, and the waist is wider than the upper torso. None of those things lend to a superhero physique, and the outfit definitely doesn't scream perfectly tailored. The masked head sculpt is also a bit sus. Everything else I'm on board with. The swap out rolled up sleeve shirt is a nice bonus, the Oscar Isaac head sculpt I love, and the texture on the fabric for the suit is just very visually interesting. Essentially, he does what it says on the tin. It's a SooSoo version of Mr. Knight. Up close and personal, kicking things off with Mr. Knight's masked head sculpt. We will try out the unmasked Stephen Grant one in just a second. So this head sculpt is, fine. It's not great, it's also not terrible. The proportions are a bit strange, it's quite tall and wide at the top, so it gives me Megamind vibes. But the weirdest thing for me about it is all of the definition for the facial structure. Like, how tight is this mask? We can see his nose, which is angled upwards, this line just above his chin, the sunken in cheeks, and the brows are even sculpted. I like the texture and the stitching and the moon. Everything else doesn't work for me, including the color. Why is the mask as dark as it is? I know there's supposed to be a color difference between the mask and the rest of the suit, but it's not meant to be this drastic. If anything, it's supposed to be the same color as the hands, right? At least that's what I thought. Okay, so the light up effect is activated with a magnet, yet they don't include a magnet. Shame on you, SooSoo Toys. How can you have a magnet-operated light-up function and not give us a freaking magnet? This is like elementary level stuff. They could have even hidden a magnet in one of the accessories. So to activate them, you just hover the magnet over the eyes and they turn on. They're not very bright. It's probably just the battery I'm using, or it's the studio lights. I don't think that I'm ever going to use the light up effect because the eyes are already glossy and they're brighter than the rest of the mask. Even without the LEDs turned on, it kind of looks like the eyes are glowing anyway. You're probably thinking, what on earth is this? Well, this is what's underneath the head sculpt. So if you hover the magnet over the LEDs, as you can see, they do in fact turn on. I wanted to show you what they look like without the head sculpt on, just to prove that they are there and they work. Now that's a head sculpt. This is probably one of SooSoo Toys' best head sculpts ever. It's not perfect, the skin tone is a bit flat. I would have liked more speckling and more texture and more definition. But the way the eyes are painted looks great to me, the expression works, and the likeness is very strong. The hair is made of rubbery plastic, especially these individual strands around the front. And this head sculpt is compatible with the Hot Toys Moon Knight. We are going to, of course, try that out later. Your eyes do not deceive you. He does look a little bit paunchy. This padding around the front? Absolutely not. They should not have padded his gut. It looks like he's had a few too many 1/6 scale burgers. So after this review is done, I will be removing the padding around the front. Everywhere else, it's fine. Padding for the shoulder pads or the thighs, I don't care about that. This is a crime. Now the suit jacket is nice and thin, it's lined on the inside, there's a pocket square which you could remove if you wanted, some real pockets around the front, and the material is covered in screen printed detail. That's sort of the only way to get this pattern on the surface, and I like the way it looks and the way it feels. There's a subtle sheen to it, so when light bounces off the surface, all of this detail does pop. The same thing can be said for the vest. It's got screen printing everywhere and some faux buttons around the front. And the tie, that's also screen printed. How they managed to tie this fishbone knot, because that's a real knot, and have the tie be adjustable and sit properly on the collar, although mine's a bit low currently, I have no idea how they did that. It looks great, and it's show accurate. Coming down to the pants, nothing to report, really. They're just some business suit pants. There's a crease down the front, the material is screen printed. It matches the rest of the outfit. The shoes do look very comfy with these Velcro or elastic straps over the top. If you know what these shoes are, please weigh in down below. He has some white socks on underneath, and there's even some sculpted tread. Now, he does come with an interchangeable shirt with the sleeves rolled up, so I am curious to see what he looks like with that on. Better, I think. This might be my go-to display option. The jacket, I like it, but it doesn't do his proportions any favors. It narrows him out at the shoulders and it bulks him up, accentuating all the padding down here for his gut. Just the shirt means that now you can see all of the definition with the skin texture and the vein work on his fully painted forearms. Do make sure that you are pulling the sleeves down as far as they will go, because otherwise they will ride up and you'll expose the ugly double bend elbow joints. This is pretty cool. It isn't perfect, it's not as good as I was hoping it was going to be, because the neck is a touch short on the Mark/Steven head sculpt, so if you push it all the way down on the Hot Toys neck connector, then he has no neck, so you will have to adjust it, get it to sit up a little bit higher, and now it's not properly connected, but it looks a hell of a lot better. You will also need to remove the stock Hot Toys neck from inside the suit, then you can slide the SooSoo Toys one all the way in. I could maybe see myself displaying him like this every now and then. For a quick side-by-side comparison, I don't think it gets much better than this. If you're an MCU Moon Knight fan, you're eating good right now because this is a perfect pairing. SooSoo Toys Mr. Knight, Hot Toys Moon Knight. Height-wise, they are quite consistent, which is a good thing, because this is supposed to be the same person in the suit after all. The proportions do differ though. Mr. Knight is narrower at the shoulders than quite wide at the hips, whereas for Moon Knight, it's reversed. You may like the juxtaposition because it's Mark versus Steven. I don't. I would have preferred if they'd copied the proportions on the Hot Toys Moon Knight for their Mr. Knight. It doesn't ruin it for me, it's just something to be aware of. If you're wondering what Mr. Knight looks like versus the Toys Turbo version, don't worry about that, I'll save you the hassle. The SooSoo Toys one is significantly better. Going over Mr. Knight's articulation, starting off with his head sculpt. It is on a fixed neck and there's a ball joint down the bottom. Looking forward to there, looking up to there, swivel and pivot side to side. His arms will go up to there, going forward and back on soft ratchets, butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, ratcheted double bend at the elbow going past 90, and then for the wrist peg, it's a hinge and swivel. There is still way too much padding for the torso. Crunching forward is restricted to there, going back to there a little bit further, swivel and pivot side to side. His legs will go forward to there, going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. Ratcheted double bend at the knee going past 90, and then a double ball peg for the ankles. Good for forward and back, swivel, as well as ankle tilt. Wrapping up on SooSoo's Gentlemoon, aka Mr. Knight from Moon Knight on Disney+. This figure is actually really confusing. There are certain things that impress me, like the rolled up sleeve shirt paired with the fully painted forearms, as well as the Oscar Isaac head sculpt. But then there's the wonky proportions, the screen printed suit which could get creased and damaged with long-term posing, and the bizarre masked head sculpt. The tailoring is particularly interesting because they've previously done really solid suits, like with the Hero Lawyer 2.0. I'm not quite sure who approved the cut of this particular outfit, especially the outer jacket. Luckily, when you remove it, the body does start to look a bit better. Oh, and get rid of the padding, thank me later. I don't want to sound like I'm being overly sour on this figure. It's still the best 1/6 scale Mr. Knight out there, for now at least. It's just not as perfect as I was hoping it was going to be. It doesn't let me down to the point where I'd say it's not worth it. It is close though. If you have Hot Toys Moon Knight and you have the third-party Khonshu coming, I'd say this guy is probably a no-brainer, flaws and all. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. As always, do your own research, make sure you are comfortable before buying. I have popped a link to their site in the description below for your reference purposes only. This was not a promotional video, this is a review. All opinions are 100% my own. If you are heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.